All right, guys, we are live. I'm going to need to share this really quick on Facebook, so we're going to wait for everybody to jump on. Before we do this, let me post this on here. It's Friday. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Being successful. Facebook. All right. Stretching. So the title of this live stream, how to improve your guitar playing mindset. The one thing that I get asked a lot from people is how do we, when we're practicing or if we don't feel like practicing or, whatever happens, how do we stay motivated? How do we actually engage in our playing rather than just running through the motions? And I think that I have some pretty good advice about that, which is something that I want to talk about, how to improve that mindset, change kind of how you think about guitar, change how you think about your guitar playing specifically, and just make some improvements overall. The other thing that I want to talk about is going to be the new guitar that I got, an Ormsby, which is really sweet. It's purple, which I like purple guitars. Let's move this closer. Oops. Purple. And I also want to talk about my book, Guitar Efficiency. So I've got a copy back here as well. Just want to give this a couple minutes here just to let people get streamed in. So we have a couple people already on. If you want, go ahead and just leave a comment in the chat box there that you're here. Let's see. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the book, because when it comes to having a mindset change for your playing, it's good to have some kind of routine that you put yourself through. If you just sit down every single time and just randomly play whatever comes to mind, I think that you're going to be less inspired than if you have a set goal for the day. And it doesn't have to be the same goal every day. It doesn't always have to be, every time I sit down, I'm going to play an arpeggio exercise, or every time I sit down, I'm going to play chromatic exercises. It's not like that. What it is that you need to have a set, maybe not even a time that you have set, but you need to have a set idea of, tomorrow I'm really going to nail that solo, or the next day I'm really going to nail this one exercise or these scales that I've been really working on. So let's talk about the book right here. I got a copy, Guitar Efficiency. There is a link in the description, so definitely check it out. Purchase it if you want to get some exercises and just some warm-ups and everything. But Guitar Efficiency, daily exercises and tablature workbook with a journal. So that's the cool thing about the book that's different from any other book that I've ever seen, is in the back it's got a weekly journal for your goals. That's a huge change, because if you, again, we're talking about changing the mindset of your guitar playing. If you don't know what you did, let's say there's 52 pages here for a full year, one a week, you fill it out. If you don't know what your goals were, what your successes were, and what your the things that you need to improve on were, then how are you going to get better? How are you going to actually look back in a year or from a year ago and say that I've improved or not improved? So that's what's different about my book than any other book. On the back, there's a description about it, and I'm going to kind of just tell you about that. Exercises, there's the essentials: speed, endurance, accuracy, technique. Guitar Efficiency is meant to give you daily workouts to get your hands syncopated and warmed up. So that's important too. Sometimes when we sit down and play and we're not warmed up enough yet, right? We haven't stretched our shoulders. We haven't stretched our hands out. We haven't gotten that blood flow, done a couple of workouts. Then we start playing and then we suck. And we're like, why do I suck today? Well, it's probably because you're just not ready to play, right? sometimes it's best to sit down and just run through a few exercises, run through a few things, maybe run through some really easy songs that that you've kind of played before. You don't really have to try, right? They're just real super simple. That's always good too. And then in here, the whole point of this book is that it's a 7-chapter book. So chapter 1 is the chromatic scales. Okay, so the chromatic scale is getting all those 4 fingers working in different orders: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 3, and then backwards, ascending and descending, whatever. If you don't have a set of exercises, like day 1 being chromatics, day 2 is the major and minor scales, day 3 is pentatonics, day 4 diatonic modes, day 5 arpeggios, odd note groupings, picking techniques, and again, with the 7 chapters, 7 days, every day you're hitting a new warm-up, which is great. So anyway, definitely consider purchasing the book. The link's in the description. There's a whole lot. It's over 160 pages of, I've tabbed everything out, all the exercises, everything. So you can go through chromatic scales, arpeggios. It's also got a description of which of the 4 this chapter is meant to kind of go over. So essentials covered in this chapter: speed, accuracy, and technique. So really cool. I put a lot of work into it to try to help people progress. So if you guys are looking for something, Keyshawn, I hope I'm saying that right. How long did it take you to write the book? It took me a couple of months. I had most of these exercises in my head and that I did all the time, but to actually sit and type it all out on Guitar Pro and then give it to Alicia. So Alicia is the one that did the whole book for me as far as the cover and getting all the pages set up. She's a friggin' wizard. The photo on the front was done by Shauna Kruger. She's awesome. And it took me about 2 months to get it all the way done. And it's it was a lot of work, and I actually still need to go back and change a couple of things. There's a couple, mistakes that I made, which is, that's part of it. So thanks for the question. Sadeep, hey, Zach, good to see you, man. Hey, you too. Thanks for commenting. I appreciate it. You got any questions, let me know. I'm just going to be on here for the next 50 minutes. So if you got any questions about music theory, let me know. I'm going to keep going into the book and check out my guitar and everything. So anyway, keep in mind, links in the description. Guitar efficiency, it just helps support the page, helps support me. I don't make a lot of money or anything off of it, but it's just nice to know that people enjoy what you create, right? I mean, so anyway, that is a huge step, though, in creating a good mindset on the guitar, right? I think a lot of us go into it going, well, I'm going to play terribly today like I played yesterday, and now I'm not inspired to play at all. Well, maybe if you had something like a set idea every single day, today's chromatics, tomorrow's pentatonics, the next day's arpeggios, whatever, I think maybe that could help you not feel like you're stunted every time you pick up the guitar. It gives you a daily goal. So that's the other thing. Think about goals, right? Think about what is your long-term goal with the guitar. Anyway, we'll talk more about this a little bit later. If you have questions about the book or what's inside of it, or if there's any exercises you kind of want to see before you purchase it, let me know in the comments. And also feel free down here in the chat box. There's a little $sign and an emoji sign. If you feel like you want to donate to the channel, $5, $10, $20, whatever, I would really, really appreciate it. I'm doing this for free. It's on YouTube, so it's for free. And I just want to give information out and answer questions to people that can't come and see me, or can't really afford full-time lessons or anything, but maybe just want little pieces of advice here and there. So donations would be really, really appreciative from me. And, share this on YouTube, everything, not asking for you to do anything other than just, support what I do. And I appreciate every one of you. So let's put this aside. Links in the description. Let's talk about the guitar that I got. Here it is. Ormsby, purple, really cool. Headstock is super sweet. I like the reverse headstock, and I like this thing is super brutal, super brutal. it's like, it looks like it could cut someone's face. I like it. The tuners on the back, these are not the stock tuners. I think they're, I want to say hip shot tuners. They've got like the locking things on them, but you can see that the guy who owned it before, when he put the tuners on, it's got the old screw holes still from the other tuners, but that actually doesn't bother me too much. I may end up painting this a different color at some point anyway, so we'll see. So those might just get filled in and, repainted over anyway. So anyway, here it is. It's a 7-string purple. Purple's my favorite color, and black, I guess, but purple like as a real, I guess, colorful color. The one thing that's really nice about it is how deep this cutaway is back here. You can tell they've beveled it out a little bit more, so that way when you come up here to that 24th fret, I have a lot more access. You can see I still got a lot more space here, versus on some guitars, this will come up to here, and then you have to kind of reach in to try to get that 24th fret. I like that I don't have to try. For me, though, this really isn't even a, what do you want to call it? It's not really a soloing guitar for me. I bought it specifically for rhythms. So it's got just the standard bridge on it, a fixed bridge, comes through the back. The reason that I chose this was when I'm doing rhythms and stuff and I'm beating up my guitar pretty heavy, doing chunky riffs, I don't really like when Floyds will kind of buckle. And that's only for recording. Live, I don't care because that's just live. But when you're recording and you're doing multiple takes on one guitar, it can get really, just those little micro out of pitch notes here and there can really change, can really change the recording, and it kind of gets really irritating when things don't stay in tune. So anyway, another cool thing I like is that the dots are kind of up here. That's just more for aesthetics. It doesn't really do anything, but I like the way that the fretboard looks. It looks really clean. Again, it's a 7-string. I really only played 7 strings for the longest time. In fact, not playing a 7-string was weird because I started playing when I was 12. And for the first 3 or 4 years, I played regular Strats, like little Fender Squires, and my dad had a bunch of Ibanez sitting around. But they were all 6 strings, and then I got into like Trivium and Dream Theater and all those bands, and then I got into the 7 strings. And pretty much since I was 16 until I was 25 or whatever, I played 7 exclusively. So then when I had to start teaching, I had to go back to 6 because the 7th string would confuse everybody. You're trying to teach a beginner how to play a G chord like this, and you've got this extra string, kind of messes with them a little bit. So I had to make the drop down back to 6, which is fine. Doesn't matter. But I sometimes feel like I'm missing something. Like, you can get these really long, really cool runs. Just a little bit lower even, and I really like that. Also just that chunkiness. Really, really cool. Cindy, hey, thank you. Yeah, it does. It's super pretty. Whenever you come back for in-person lessons, I'll let you play it, and it'll probably blow your mind because you've never played a 7-string guitar before. Christopher, do you have any videos to mirror the book? Example, how to incorporate it in a solo and play it more fluid? Yeah, so I have a couple of videos about a couple of the exercises out of there. The book on the back, it even does say, it does say this book is not a lick book or a solo idea book. The intent is to strictly improve on these essential 4: speed, speed, endurance, accuracy, and technique. It's not meant to take these ideas and steal them for solos. Yes, the combination of music theory and techniques will help you create solos. However, the exercises specifically laid out here are meant for mechanical improvement. So that's what we work on, right? Getting that right hand and left hand syncopation, knowing your majors and minors, right? Being able to do them really fluidly. It's not always about speed, right? It's about being able to play something fluid. And then what I do is I take that, and I'll be making more videos about how to incorporate a major scale and then write a solo with that, right? But once these images of major scales and arpeggios, getting that out of the way really, really helps to eliminate a lot of time from sitting there trying to come up with a cool solo and then going, oh, hey, I don't actually know how to play an arpeggio. So now I got to stop everything and learn what an arpeggio looks like, or all the shapes of the arpeggios, or the scales, or the modes. And then now it just feels like over time, you eliminate that, you can play a little bit faster. So it's really cool. And then obviously music theory is not, the quote that I heard was that scales, modes, arpeggios, that kind of stuff, they're music, but they're not musical, right? Just playing this isn't necessarily musical. It's just a scale. It's the building blocks for music. How do we take that scale and make it musical? Okay, that's a good question. I will be making more videos about how to. In fact, I do have a video about how to write solos and stuff. I'm going to make more of those because that's just fun. Brian, eye-catching guitar for sure. Totally. I love the purple. It's great. I'm thinking about taking it to, if you're a local guy here in Omaha, you'll know JJ's Guitar Repair. I'm thinking about taking it down to him, having him do a purple paint job, like a glitter one, kind of like this Ibanez's glittery. I don't know if you can see the glitter. Making it purple glitter, and then doing a clear coat on it, because you can't really see it, but it's got like a matte finish almost, like it, or maybe a satin finish. It doesn't have that nice polished finish that I like on guitars. So I may be doing a little bit to that. The one thing that was weird was we bought this guitar off of Reverb, and trying to get it in the, there we go. I bought this guitar, no, I don't like that, on Reverb. And the guy, you know, like I said, he replaced the tuning pegs, and I'm going to back up. There we go. The tuning pegs and the bridge. And when I got it, man, the strings were sitting really high off the neck. And it almost was that, because that other hip shot bridge wasn't lining up, the strings were like, you know, if you look, they were sitting like right on the edge of the neck. And it was almost impossible to play. So what I did yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I came in, I put the old bridge back on. So now just that alone shifted it back up. And I put some way lighter gauge strings on it. It had like 13, so it was really, really thick. I put some lighter gauge strings on there. But even before that, I had to clean up the neck. It was really dry, so we got some oil put on there. And also the frets had a little bit of sprout on the edge. You guys ever get the sprout where it's just that fret kind of sticks out, kind of cuts up a little bit of your finger? So I had to fix that a little bit. And then once I did that, I decided not to change the tuners because they're fine, and I'm going to paint it again anyway. Then put these lighter gauge strings on it, let it sit for a little while, let the neck relax, and now it plays really nicely. So, and you can tell that the strings are back to being aligned a lot better. Sometimes that you know, I was just talking to another student of mine on Skype, and I think people would be amazed at how important it is to have a good setup done on your guitar. Not just, you know, not just putting new strings on it, but literally doing an entirely full-on setup, right? Get the strings lowered to where they should be. Make sure that the neck is adjusted so it doesn't have that bow in it. And of course, and again, if you're local and you're a local dude, then you can go to JJ's Guitar Repair. He's just amazing and very affordable for what he does and how good he is at it. So definitely check out JJ's Guitar Repair if you're in the Omaha area. He's actually right across the street from me too, which is funny. So somebody's yelling. Anyway, if you go down to JJ's and tell him I sent you, he won't give you a discount, but he'll probably like say, "Oh, cool, I know Zach. That's all I need." So he's hilarious. But really great at what he does. I think he's got some guitars for sale down there too. So if you're looking for some really cool deals, I think he's got some guitars. But anyway, make sure that if you are looking to get better, right? Also, talking about mindset on the guitar, how to improve your mindset. I would 100% recommend that you get new strings, do a setup on it, make sure all the electronics are working. If it's an electric guitar, if it's an acoustic guitar, make sure that the bridge is set up correctly. Make sure that like if the nut down here is like busted or shifted. I have people that have brought guitars in that are like, oh, this has been sitting in my attic for 20 years and I don't like playing it. Well, yeah, no kidding, you don't like playing it because it's been sitting in your attic for 10 years. Right? It's dusty and it's gross and the strings are probably corroded and they're probably sitting like this high off the fretboard. So it's impossible to play. But even if you don't have a guitar that bad, even like I said, this one would have been fine for most people if they looked at it. But when I picked it up, because I set myself into a mindset of every guitar I play has to be set up how I want it. So that way I'm not even worried about whether or not it's the guitar's fault or if it's my fault. So, yes, Brian, take it to JJ's. I mean, just to get the output jacks fixed, that's an easy fix for him. Probably do all 4 of them for a really, really great price, and it's just amazing. And yeah, Cindy, you took yours down there, that 12-string, and that was kind of an older guitar, and I think it plays amazing. Now, of course, you may run into a problem where your old guitar, like Cindy's, was kind of had like a crack in it because it was so old, I think. And he had to make, kind of tune it down a little bit. And I think that even still, it plays way better and you can just use a capo. So whatever. Anyway, make sure your guitars are set up right. If you really want a good mindset on how to play and how to feel good about your playing, because if you sit down and your instruments aren't, my instruments aren't working to my benefit, then I'm going to get upset and be like, I don't even want to play anymore today. Done. I don't even want to play. So really cool to get everything set up. And honestly, it's something that you should learn for yourself. Just how to do in general, how to, maybe you're not like, knowing how to solder and do all that cool stuff, but just in general of knowing how to change the strings and getting that, getting the neck set up properly, make sure that the relief is there when it's needed, or, just maybe putting on a little bit of a lighter gauge string could help too. So lots of really great ideas. So step 1 to making sure that your guitars, or that your guitar mindset is okay, is to make sure that your guitars are set up properly. That would be my first setup, or my first suggestion is to set them up. And you'd be amazed at how, like, the night and day difference. Actually, one of my students, the guy I was just talking to on Skype, Mike Stone, he brought in a guitar. We fixed it up, put a new input jack, new tuners, new bridge. No, we didn't put a new bridge. Can't remember. New pickups. And he'd had this guitar for 10 years. It was sitting around and, he kind of played it here and there. But now I think he plays it like every day because it just plays amazing. So it does make a huge difference, right? So don't neglect your guitars, because and you could quote me, like a unset up or dirty guitar is an uninspiring guitar. Why would you be inspired to pick up a guitar that is gross and doesn't play right? So that's step 1. Let me get some water. All right, so Opsis, hope I'm saying that right. Awesome work on the Rust in Peace facts. Thank you. If you guys haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. I have a whole playlist, actually. I've got 4 videos there. I'm going to try to make, I've got all of them in my, I just got to make the videos, basically. I have them all written out of top 10 interesting facts about some albums. Rust in Peace. I think I've got Texas Flood and Van Halen's debut album, and now I can't remember the other one. I have to think about it. So, yeah, would you consider doing a video exploring identical Megadeth and Metallica riffs? Yes. In that video, as you know, I talked about Hangar 18 and the Call of Cthulhu sounding very, very similar, just with that D minor riff, that... and the Call of Cthulhu one being very something like that. I can't remember. I like Hangar 18 better. Who likes Metallica more? Who likes Megadeth more? Leave that in the comments. or did I say Megadeth? Yeah, Megadeth and Metallica. Who likes Megadeth more? Who likes Metallica more? I'm definitely a Megadeth fan. Not that I don't like Metallica. I like Megadeth more. I like them both more. That's funny. Here's the deal with making new videos. I run my business here and I teach 50 students a week on top of having another 100+ students that these guys have, Steve, Getty, and Stephanie. So again, if you're in the Omaha area, or if we want Skype lessons, we do drums, beginner guitar, bass. Stephanie does violin, vocals, flute, piano. Yeah, and some other stuff too. So if you guys want any of those instruments, let us know. But with that, I can only make so many videos where, and then try to sleep too. So just so everybody knows, again, there is that little donation button down there if you want to donate to the channel. That definitely helps keep me going and, kind of gets me motivated to, do stuff like that and be able to make this somewhat of a full-time thing. I'd like to make YouTube a full-time thing as well on top of teaching. And, yeah, I don't need sleep, right, Brian? Who needs that? For me, I could stay up and play guitar all the time, and I usually do. So that's why I look so tired. I look like a drug addict, but I'm not. I promise. I don't do any drugs. I don't even drink. But I just work all the time, and I'm tired. So anyway, any questions about the guitar, let me know. So thank you, Brian. Sweet. Thank you. Anyway, any questions about the guitar, let me know. I'm trying to get an endorsement from Ormsby. That'd be really great. So I'm kind of working on some stuff, getting some videos made for that. I got so much stuff to do. All right, so we've already talked about mindset on the guitar. The first step is to make sure you get your guitar set up properly. It's to buy some coffee. Thanks, Brian. I will go buy some Starbucks or something. Get their power protein peanut butter shake. Get your guitar set up properly. Get your new strings. Get it, take it to your local shop. Even if you're not here, take it to any local shop that you've got. I would stay away from kind of more of the big chain places. I don't know if I trust all that they do, but you can find some local guitar, like maybe Luthier's or just guitar shops, like we've got, again, JJ's Guitar Repair here. And find somebody like that really wants to take good care of your guitars and get them set up for you and, put the right attention onto it because it's worth it for sure. Even if it's $30 or $100, just do it. The next thing is we talked about the book, Guitar Efficiency, link in the description. If you, oh yeah, Rich at Dietz. Oh yeah, he's amazing. I love his beard. He's a really funny guy. So yeah, take it to, if you're local here, Dietz, go to Rich or JJ's Guitar Repair or, or bring it to me. I'll help you. Anyway, the other thing is have a set daily exercise and warm up that you follow. And it doesn't have to be the same every day. That's again why I've got 7 chapters in here. Every chapter is a different topic. So that way every day you can talk about and look at and read up on and exercise out some different topics like pentatonics or arpeggios. There's only so many things that you can do with guitar and music in general, right? I mean, there's an endless amount of options and whatever you want to call it, endless amount of avenues that you can take with those things. Hey, thanks for getting the book, Brian. Sweet. Let me know what you think. Maybe do a post on Facebook and let me know what you think. So where was I? Oh yeah. So there's an endless amount of opportunity in music, but it still kind of boils down to some of the top 4 things, right? As far as, because there's a difference between technique, right? Things like sweep picking or tapping or alternate picking, hybrid picking, economy picking. All those are all just techniques. But from a musical standpoint, on the other side, there's only so many things you can do. There's arpeggios. You've got regular modal scales, right? The Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Those are your diatonic modes. You've got some non-diatonic modes, Phrygian dominant, things like that. You've got, but that all still falls under the category of modes, right? Then you've got chromatics, so you can add that into your playing, which would kind of push you into non-diatonic territory. And pentatonics, which is basically just a subsection of the minor scale, right? So, and those are the things that we cover in this book is the chromatic scales, major, minor scales, pentatonic modes, diatonic modes, arpeggios, odd note groupings, various picking techniques, finger independence, and much more. So I've talked about it in a different video where we have objective things and subjective things, right? So objective things are facts. They don't ever change. To me, in music, that would mean things like actual theory, right? A pentatonic scale is a pentatonic scale. An arpeggio is an arpeggio. Regular major minor scales, those are major minor scales all day long. There's a set pattern that makes those exactly what they are, right? Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's your major scale, right? The subjective side of it is how you approach the objective things. Subjective is an opinion or your way of looking at it or your way of approaching it. So if you have, let me put this away. So if you have, let's say, I don't know. Let's see. Let's say we're doing like an F sharp minor arpeggio. An F sharp minor arpeggio never changes. You have an F sharp right here. And then we come up here, we got an F sharp, G, G sharp, we need an A. And then we need a B, C, C sharp. Now, if you want to go the old Eddie Van Halen route, you can tap it, but it's still the same three notes regardless. I can approach it with a slide. Or I can approach it, more like an alternate picking thing. Or I can come down here and right? You can do it that way, or you can sweep those notes. But even still, the F sharp minor never changes. An F sharp, A, C sharp. Over and over and over again. Objective, and then subjective is how you approach it. And I think that we get so locked into the techniques and we get locked into, oh, hey, this guy knows how to sweep pick, and this guy's alternate picking is way faster than me, and this guy has economy picking, and oh, that guy does hybrid picking, and that's how he's as good as he is. But really, if you boil it down, I don't think it would matter what technique those guys choose to implement because they understand the theory behind it. They understand what it is that makes up those arpeggios or scales or whatever, and they're able to put the technique that just best suits it for that situation, right? Again, step one, get your guitar fixed up. Step two, let's get an actual routine going of different objective things so you can learn about it, right? Learn about what these scales mean. Learn about what notes make up a certain scale and why. Can you use, big question would be, do you know how to use the circle of fifths to find out what sharps and flats you have in certain keys? And that's just one tool. It's not always going to be this is the be-all, end-all with anything on guitar or music, but we're talking about guitar specifically. There's not just a be-all, end-all. It's always going to be, this tool helps, and then this tool helps maybe with that tool, and then we have multiple tools that we can implement at any given time. So really important to stay on track with understanding all of the different aspects of music theory. Now, again, in another video, I talked about that guitar needs to be a part of your life incomplete, right? Like not just it's something that I do. If you really want to get good at the guitar, then you have to make your life about guitar. You have to study it. You have to read magazines. You got to read books. You've got to watch videos. You've got to, talk to other guitar players and stuff. I think a lot of people get started and they start losing out on, they don't do all those things, and then they start losing that motivation, right? So there's another mindset change. Another mindset would be, who are you associating yourself with guitar-wise that's inspiring you to keep going, right? If you whenever you start doing anything, right? Like if you wanted to be like a wrestler or something, or if you wanted to be in MMA, or, let's use that for an example, MMA or bodybuilding, you associate yourself with other martial artists and other bodybuilders and other things that help keep you motivated, because you're not going to be motivated every single day. There's always going to be something that happens that pushes you, or pushes the importance of that aside. No, I'm sick today, I don't feel like playing guitar. Well, I guarantee you that bodybuilders that are sick don't care if they're sick. They're going to the gym because they have to. It's like if they don't, they're going to feel horrible about themselves. If, like with me, and I'm sick, unless I'm really beat down and like, super fever, laid up in bed or something, which hasn't happened in a long time, I'm probably playing guitar, or I'm thinking about guitar, or I'm watching videos about guitar, or I'm watching guitar players, or I'm talking to guitar players, or I'm teaching guitar players here. So a lot of different avenues. Sometimes not playing is better than playing. If you really don't feel like playing guitar, that's fine. But what you should do is, instead of just going, well, I'm not even going to play guitar today, and then I'm just go off and do something, maybe go watch a video about guitars. Go watch Spinal Tap. Go watch a funny movie about music. Go watch Crossroads. That's a great movie. If anybody's seen Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. So always surround yourself with those, with the idea of guitar. Go read a magazine. And I guarantee you, once you do that, you're going to be like, man, that's kind of a cool idea. I never thought of that. And then you go pick up your guitar for like 5 minutes, and then you go, oh, hey, I didn't know that this was a diminished scale, or I didn't know that, or arpeggio. I didn't know that, this is how I could incorporate my right hand technique. Right? Because somebody said something that just so happened to inspire you. You know what I mean? Anyway. So don't lose motivation just because you don't feel like playing today. Go watch a video, go watch something, go talk to another guitar player, go talk to somebody who's better than you. So another point in this other video that I made was you need to start watching people that are better than you at guitar. And I do mean like way better than you, people that like are way beyond what most people can comprehend, right? Say like Guthrie Govan or something like that. And you're like, oh my God, like there's no way I'll ever be this good. Well, maybe, but most of us would say, I'm gonna get that good, right? You see the difference? It's not, oh man, there's no way I could ever be as good as him, versus if I'm not as good as him, then I'm failing myself. It's harsh, but it's true, right? If you're watching guitar players that are better than you, there's always going to be something new that inspires you. Always going to be something that pushes you to want to improve your playing. And if you avoid those better players by not, you don't want to watch them, I don't want to check them out, I don't want to do it, like, because you don't want to feel bad about yourself. Well, that's kind of the wrong mindset to have too, because if you just are avoiding it to not feel bad about yourself, then you're never going to grow. Because when I watch people that are better than me, I don't feel bad about myself. I say, okay, what do I need to do to get to that level? And they actually might be maybe at the same level, or even maybe not where I'm at technically, but they've got really great ideas. So I watch it, and it's like, oh my God, that's actually pretty amazing that they're able to come up with such an idea that I would have never thought of. And that's ultimately what it boils down to. If we stick into this like prideful mindset of I'm never gonna like better myself, because then I have to show myself that I'm not as good as I thought I was, well, then you're always going to be behind, because you're never even going to want to implement something new. For example, with a 7-string guitar, when this came out back in the 90s, I've read articles and seen stuff where people are like, yeah, it came out, but I thought it was stupid. I don't know. I'm not even good enough at 6 strings to be able to play a 7-string. Well, that's kind of a weird mindset to have. Like, it's not like the 6 strings are still here. We're just adding one more. So now, of course, if you're an absolute beginner, I don't suggest going out and buying a 7-string. But if you're too locked into what you're doing and your what do you want to call it, like your habits, right? The things that you do all the time, and you can't ever change it, and you don't want to change it, and if you have to change it, it like upsets you, then you're kind of going about it the wrong way. You always have to think differently. And, you know, like with Ormsby, the guitar company here, you know, there's new guitar companies popping up like left and right now, you know, independent guys that are making guitars out of their garage and then getting famous on Instagram, or, you know, getting followers on Instagram. So the one thing though is that they are trying to be innovative. And then you'd start seeing like these really cool guitars that come out. And I mean, this guitar looks like a, you know, like a Jackson, or, you know, maybe like an Ibanez. It's got like that RG look, and, you know, it's really cool, but they're trying to be innovative by adding new, you know, like Rusty Cooley's new guitar has a bunch of new features that I've never really seen before. And, you know, even things like these have been around for a while, but the fan frets and that idea, it's like, at first you're like, oh no, that's stupid, I don't want to do that. It's, but, well, then you're not trying to push the instrument forward, and you're actually going to end up holding yourself and the whole community back by just not being a little bit open to something new, right? And I think that every single little thing can make you just that much better, right? And we're talking like micro amounts of things, like microscopic, you know, this little change can push you into a new direction, right? They say like, if you were like steering down the road and you turn the wheel 1 degree difference, you're going to end up in a completely different location, you know, over time than you would if you kept it, you know, here. So it doesn't have to be a 180 flip for everything to change and get better. It's little movements, 1 degree difference, one area that you change. So yeah, the microtonal frets, is that like the, what do you call it? The like true temperament? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I've played some of those. They're very weird. And the weirdest thing about it is, and I was talking to my friend Fred Hugg about this, because he got one. They're actually really cool. They play great. But if you play it and somebody else doesn't have the true temperament, your guitars are never going to sound great together. It's kind of like, because the true temperament is so perfect, you know, because they have it perfectly intonated, perfectly designed for the correct pitches. But the guitar in and of itself is an imperfect instrument. So however you want to look at it, but fanned and straight lines, I like them. I prefer them, but I actually was thinking about getting a true temperament guitar at some point. But again, it would have to be with people that also have a true temperament, so my actual stuff sounds good and it's not just weird. So anyway, be open to new ideas. Be open to, you know, if you really feel like you're stuck or you can't get out of like the mindset of everything I do sucks or everything I've done, I'm just tired of my playing, then maybe go buy a new guitar. I mean, I have like 55 guitars, so that's what I tell myself. Just go buy a new guitar. You'll feel better. If I'm sad, I buy a guitar. If I'm happy, I better celebrate. Go buy a guitar. So it's one of those things that you buy something different that you would never think to play. If you have 6 strings, go buy a 7. If you play 7 strings, maybe go buy an 8 or go buy a 6 again and try to manipulate what you've done on a 7 down to a 6 string and see how that feels. Maybe experiment with different tunings. I've seen somebody tunes, like, instead of tuning like, you know, in fourths, they tuned in like flat fifths and stuff. And it just forces you to think outside of those patterns. And I fall victim to this a lot, where I do these same licks over and over again because you train yourself to get really good at them, but then you kind of get staled out on your own playing. So then you have to think, maybe adding a backing track or something could be good. Adding something in a key that you're not used to playing. So then you're not always playing the same stuff over and over again. Hit some weird chords, hit some weird progressions, and literally as you're playing, say, I'm going to do something I've never done before. Even if it's something like, Oh, that's horrible. But at least you did something new. I think that's actually terrible advice. Don't play things that suck if you can help it. But anyway, we're coming up on the last like 15 minutes here. What I want to maybe do is just play a little bit. I'm thinking about putting on a backtrack and just maybe soloing, kind of seeing what you guys think of the guitar. Thanks, Brian, for the comments and the donation. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's my new quote. Don't play things that suck. Adkins 2020. I like that. Make it so. Do like a campaign thing. So I'm gonna put on a backing track here. Oops. Oh yeah, C sharp minor. I like C sharp minor. C sharp minor is really nice because it's the key of E major. What's cool about E major, you can utilize the open B and E strings. All right, so let's talk about that. That's just something random that I threw together, and I've only heard this backing track maybe one other time with another student. But C sharp minor, E major. What I want you to focus on, I call this like thinking of like Eddie Van Halen, right? Like the Van Halen idea, where what he used to do, like the song "Ain't Talking About Love." Let's see, how's that solo go? Something like that. I don't have a whammy bar, so I can't end it right. But what you can take away from that solo, the Ain't Talking About Love solo, is if you're, again, back to the mindset problem, if you're having problems getting your solos to sound good, start doing things on one string only. You're not allowed to hit anything else. Listen how cool of a solo that is. Oops. Now, the only thing he does cheat here by going to the G, but the whole melody, the whole awesome solo is on one string almost the entire times. So maybe try that. Try to solo on one string. See how it sounds. Maybe again C sharp minor. Instead of doing all those classic licks that we all do, maybe try to do something on one string. You can drone another string or something, but just to create a melody. Now, my first instinct was to go move it down the pentatonic, but because I'm pushing myself, I'm going to stay on the B maybe. anyway, taking that idea of just staying on one string, do it on all the strings. Do it on the E. You can still do your bends. You can still do hammer-ons and pull-offs and scales. All that good stuff. But you're not limited to just going back to that same, that kind of thing. Or, right? Thinking outside the box and forcing yourself to not do those same habitual things over and over again. Do something else. And jam over tracks in keys that you're not used to. You know, C sharp minor is one that not a lot of guys are used to because we're used to E minor instead of E major. So how do we incorporate the relative major and the relative minor? So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Coming up on the last 10 minutes here, so I might just kind of jam out and let it go. But change your strings, get a good setup, go to a local shop, get it set up nice, get a routine set in order, and purchase my book. It's in the description below. That will give you some exercises, warm-ups, new things to think about, new patterns that maybe you haven't played before. Move around the neck, and improve your theory for sure, just in general, so that way you have more tools to your belt. And the other thing, what did we talk about? Listen to other guitar players that are better than you, and some that aren't at the level that you're at, but they might just have a new way of looking at it that you didn't think of. So that's another great thing. Yes, click buy now. And then also jam in keys that you're not used to. I may make a full actual published video on this, lock in those points a little bit tighter. What do you guys think? I probably should do that. But those are some of the things that you need to do. And try them out before, changing that idea of, well, everything I do sucks. But no, don't be like that. Go and do stuff that you actually like to play and watch people better than you. Get your guitar set up. Do all these great things. And I guarantee it's going to make you want to play more, and you're going to feel better. So I'm going to jam out to this C sharp minor backing track. Thanks everybody for joining in, commenting, and just checking it out. I really appreciate it. And next Friday, so every Friday I'm going to be doing this. I just figure for an hour I can sit here and do this, and hopefully people would love to donate and help out the channel and just support whatever it is that I can do to give back from lessons. So all right, guys, have a good weekend. Be safe. And we'll see you next Friday on this live stream. All right, guys, we'll see you. Have a good weekend.